Top of the afternoon to you boys and girls. We're going to do another little saw comparison taste test, if you will. We have the same old 066 technically. This is a 10 mil crank version, so it's kind of older, but obviously physically it's in really great condition. Ended up splitting the cases. The bearings were a little rough. This has the Insano SS zip kit, and it's headed down to its owner in the Sierras. And he runs the other one that I built for him with a 42 and loves it. I told him this one's going to run a little bit stronger because it's got the big old heavy Mondo flywheel. Anybody that ran those older saws knows what I'm talking about. Definitely a tractor power kind of an operation. It's not a high winder by any stretch of imagination. We're not going to be spinning either one of these two saws up. Maybe around 13.5 or something, since they're both pretty decently new coming out of the shop. 661 is going to be the other one. The last test session, which is going to be airing beforehand technically, we ran it in all M-tronic version, and so it's a little bit different situation now. We'll be checking that out when we tune it up a little bit. And I did kind of take care of the air cleaner mounting operation. I like this version. It's much more secure. It doesn't back off. It doesn't vibrate with time like the stock version does. And yeah, this is a maxi setup because we wanted to make the comparison even, essentially. And I'm thankful to my lovely bride. She's going to be giving me a help out with the tack. So bar change in the middle, of course. 32-inch Stihl lightweight bar with the same. It's actually semi-skip steel chain, haven't touched it. And so let us see how this works out. think I mentioned in a previous video that this is about 3,000 feet in elevation. If I did, yay. If I didn't, oh, that's the way it goes sometimes. The other thing that's important to note is we're sporting 8-tooth sprockets on both of these saws. Trying to keep things equal, I guess. So as a point of interest, we'll look at the clutch cover here for a second. We can see it's not very far. This recess isn't very deep. It's a lot easier to get your fingers on the bar nuts in there. The new operation is designed, it's actually kind of deep in there with the captive nuts, and this is closer, and it's not a better operation for actually tightening up the bar nuts. The other thing about this saw that's kind of impressive, and the sun came out, so it's perfect, there's the case gasket. So that is not supposed to be like that. I've only seen one like this so far, and it's only been on a Stihl saw. So that's kind of a point of interest to me. I'm not sure how this saw is going to hold up with the metal on metal. It doesn't seem to leak oil out of the tank, oil tank that is, so kind of an interesting side note. Thanks, dear. So what was the reading? Did the readings were a little higher when I started to cut, and then you're kind of watching, right? Were you watching it monitor?
Well, I was waiting for it to get to the peak before I pulled it away.
Okay. All right, so I'm not sure if there's any kind of a differential necessarily in the amount of time it takes for the M-tronic version of the 661 versus what we have here. Obviously, we have an adjustable carburetor on it, and we have an unlimited coil on it as well. So I obviously got rid of the M-tronic stuff, trying to see if we get any kind of a difference in the way it performs. M-tronic has a tendency to run the saws in a lean fashion. It's at least 14.7 to 1. Air to fuel ratio I've heard as high as 17 to 1 from a really long time, well-known, pretty serious Stihl mechanic. So they're running really lean. Unfortunately, that's not going to help with the longevity at all. I'm curious to see what the timed runs turn out between the M-tronic version of the 661 and the unlimited coil adjustable carburetor version. We got the tach readings at high RPM, wide open throttle for both saws about the same, which is pretty sweet. I'd probably run this saw up a little bit more personally, another 1,000 RPMs or so. It seems to be missing pretty good. The tractor power 066. I would run that probably around 14 somewhere, maybe 14.5. I'd have to listen to it and see how it sounded. But anyway, I'm thankful for my lovely bride for helping out with the process of the tachometer. And this is, again, I think the culmination of a series. We watched stock versus stock and the 066-1. Then we built the 066. It annihilated the 661. Then we built the 661 and ran it against the 660. I think they're relatively close. I can pull on this saw as much as I want. Seems like it doesn't bother it much. It seems to hunker down and continue to tractor power through the process. Running in the 9,000 range, but like I'm pulling on them pretty good when we're coming up through from the bottom because I want to see how they respond. So anyway, hopefully, I don't know, I can't mention his name, Dano, he'll know who he is. Hopefully he's happy when he gets the 660, 066, excuse me, and with any luck he'll chime in and let us know. We're going to take this saw and nuke some reds and kind of go through some of the motions since we changed out the process, see how well it performs. Anyway, thanks for watching this session. Have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.